We talk about transportation. We also have to talk about the Food Safety and Modernization Act, which brings me to a familiar face to us, Mike Bentel. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me here.
I just want to revisit for folks who don't know, you have been in the food industry for 30 plus years, very familiar with this. You've actually gotten an education, so you can now go in and educate people in different plants.
Absolutely.
This affects transportation and logistics.
Yes, it does, in kind of an unusual way. Logistics, warehousing has always had some sort of oversight from the FDA, and that will become a little bit more interesting, I guess, as a result of the Food Safety and Modernization Act. But let's talk about transportation just for this minute. Transportation, there's going to be an emphasis on trailer sanitation, which is something that the industry doesn't do very well, to be honest with you. It's kind of an afterthought. Some guy might take a hose or a broom to his trailer that's hauling food. There's also going to be a focus on the temperature of the product that's being moved. If you're moving product, and let's just say the bill of ladings call for a 40-degree temperature, anything that's above that is going to make that food viewed as adulterated. And that's a very specific term that means that the food isn't fit for human consumption. So if you're delivering a trailer of yogurt and it ran at 42 degrees, that product probably doesn't have a food safety issue, but under the guise of the law, because it did deviate from what the bill of lading stated, that product's viewed as adulterated and not fit for human consumption. One of the very important things is that they have to figure out a way to mitigate that and bring that product back into compliance. And right now, public comments are open right now to talk about that with the FDA. So if I was in the transportation business, I'd be speaking with the FDA about that.
Yeah, because that's definitely going to present some challenges.
$250,000 worth of product because of 2 degrees, probably a pretty big claim that you're going to own probably.
Very expensive, exactly. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some other things that people need to be prepared for, because you don't have a ton of time to implement this. You do have some.
No, the sanitary transport rule, the rules go into effect March 31st, 2016, and they'll have a 1-year run-up after that. The rest of the law, the rest of the FSMA, as it's called, Food Safety and Modernization Act, preventive controls for human food and animal food, most of those rules will go into effect on Halloween of this year.
So if you're a supplier, you really need to be involved in moving in the right direction with this.
Absolutely, and education is the key to it, because it's going to create some sort of changes in your operation that you might not anticipate, and you might need capital to do that, or you might need some operational changes in order to comply with that.
Well, let's talk about that education, because some people will choose to do that in-house, and some people may call someone in like you. And how did they go about that?
Education, it's called preventive control training. Each location in the United States that handles food, with the exception of fresh meat and eggs, need to have at least one person on staff that have gone through preventive controls, whether you're an animal feed business or human consumption business. And that's part of the services I provide in my business.
All right, Mike, there's a lot of changes ahead and a lot to learn. I'm sure we will have you back. We are out of time. Thank you.
Thanks.